JK Rowling has found herself in hot water once again for supposed transphobic comments. But you're probably thinking, well, there's nothing new there. But this controversy has been dragged up from 2020, and she has also explicitly said that Harry Potter stars Danial Radcliffe and Emma Watson will not be forgiven for defending transgender people against her comments, basically. And it's an absolute horror show. So if you take a little look at the article that I've got right here, it shows that basically J.K. Rowling has reignited row with Harry Potter stars Danial Radcliffe and Emma Watson. Now, this came after J.K. Rowling a couple of years ago, back in 2020, basically hit out at transgender people and celebrities who were backing transgender people, like for, basically promoting it and showing under 18s that it was okay, and basically labeled it as a watershed moment. Anyone that doesn't know what a watershed moment is, basically the watershed, I'm not sure if they have it in the States, but in the UK, things are not allowed to be shown before 9 p.m. on TV, which have kind of, like over 18 kind of imagery. So, sexual content, things that are R-rated. And basically, the Harry Potter stars, Danial Radcliffe and Emma Watson, spoke out about this back in 2020. So Harry Potter, otherwise known as Danial Radcliffe, said, "It's clear that we need to do more to support the transgender and non-binary people, not invalidate their identities." He also added that he really hopes that the author's comments do not tarnish or taint the movie series, because obviously it's got such a widespread community. And Emma Watson also kind of hit the nail on final nail in the coffin by saying trans people are who they are and they deserve to live their lives without being constantly questioned or told who they are, or who they are compared to who they should be, kind of thing, which is completely fair. And then moving forwards into another article, which is really, really interesting, which really kind of hammers home the thought that, this whole kind of scenario, is this article right here, which says, obviously, it kind of goes into a bit more depth about what was said from J.K. Rowling and things like this. And she's basically told them to save their apologies. And this came after a Twitter user dragged this up and said, along the lines of, "Just waiting for Dan and Emma to give you a very public apology, safe in the knowledge that you will forgive them." Rowling responded, "Not safe, I'm afraid. Celebs who cozied up to a movement intent on eroding women's hard-won rights and who use their platform to cheer on transitioning of minors can save their apologies for traumatized detransitioners and vulnerable women reliant on single-sex spaces." So she you know where she was going with that. She does not want the apology. She doesn't care for it. She stands by what she said. And some would say that's fair enough. Some would say, it's kind of tarnishing all the incredible things that she's done. But to kind of add to this, here is Emma Watson really kind of making her thoughts and opinions known about this whole kind of movement. So let's take a little look and listen to this.
Having friends who are trans, like, there's so many more important issues.
Do you feel comfortable with me using, female toilets?
Oh my God, of course.
What would you say to those people who would have an issue sharing?
Say, that's another human being. How can you?
So, yeah, really making herself known there, making her opinions known, making sure that people are aware of where she stands on this entire thing. And, it's crazy because obviously this isn't the first time that J.K. Rowling's been brought into question by her almost transphobic comments. And I use that quotation because it's a very divided topic. Some people say that it is incredibly transphobic. Some people say that it's not, and that she's defending women's rights. And, you know, no matter where you stand on it, I guess the outlook is always going to be, there's going to be differing opinions. But there is, well, here is some of the issues that were kind of raised back even last year regarding her controversies, let's say. Let's take a little listen.
We're talking about J.K. Rowling and the controversy that surrounds her. Story begins back in 2018 when Maya Forstater was fired from her job for refusing to acknowledge that trans women are women, instead writing them down as men. So J.K. Rowling came to her defense, called Maya a warrior, and stated that women are women, men are men, and you can't change that. J.K. Rowling would then release a book under her pseudonym Robert Galbraith about a trans serial killer. In the book, a man dresses up as a woman to trick women into trusting him, and then he kills them. Now, clearly, he's not trans, but J.K. Rowling seems to think that's as easy as it is. And even though the cast and crew and family and friends tell her, stop it, you're being transphobic, she continues to double down and post illegitimate articles. Like that time she tweeted she can ignore inappropriate child videos, if you catch my meaning, but she can't ignore the millions of trans people getting transitional surgery. And then she compared it to the antidepressant epidemic. And then to top it all off, J.K. Rowling comes out with a book about a YouTuber who gets canceled. Eventually, I kid you not, that YouTuber gets stabbed to death by social justice warriors. She swears it's not a self-insert character. She's like, no, I was working on this for years. Opinion is that she's like every other famous British white author. She's a talented writer, she's privileged, and she's an idiot. But that's just my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours. Unless you start saying some dumb things, then I will delete your comments, I will block you, because this is not a safe space for awful people. You don't get an opinion on my platform if your opinion is to spew bigotry. Have a magical day, everyone.
So, yeah, you know, it's crazy that was likened to, you know, explicit content of children of that nature. Now, obviously, this is where people get so irate about the situation, because it's not at that point it's not just that anymore. It's like, you know, you're likening it to a depressing era. You're likening it to children exploited content. They're not the same. They're not the same at all. And the fact that was even brought up was absolutely insane. But when you think about the huge success that she's had, especially with Harry Potter, you know, if you go to any corner of the globe and say Harry Potter, people will know who you're talking about. But there are some people who have bought in to question the character that she created, Harry Potter, within the book and within the series, and how his struggles as an outsider, as someone who is different and hated by parental figures because he's different, how people within the LGBTQ plus community could relate to that character. And people are like, well, how can you create this character that's so, you know, it is so relatable to these people, yet you're kind of against these people, if that makes sense. And it's really not made any like better or better said than this video right here, which I'm going to share with you right now.
Very strange that this woman spent years crafting this really rich story about a child who felt like they didn't belong. And so they discover a world where they do belong, and they're embraced by that world. And their parents hate them because they are different than them. I can definitely see how a trans person might relate to Harry's struggle and become attached to the story and love the stories. And it must suck being a trans person that loves Harry Potter and to learn how J.K. Rowling feels about trans people. I think Danial Radcliffe said it best. If you found anything in these stories that resonated with you and helped you at any time in your life, then that is between you and the book that you read, and it is sacred. So yeah, transgender women are women, and I'll leave it at that.
So what do you make on this whole situation? Obviously, it's polarizing, like I've said before. Some people say that she's just standing up for women's rights, and some people say, no, these are bigotry comments that are trying to degrade the LGBTQ plus community. But where do you stand on it? How do you think J.K. Rowling, well, I saw a whole conversation about whether she's a national treasure. And people would say, yes, she is, for the books that she's written and the work that she's done for children. But after the comments that she's made, she's kind of lost that status. Now, what do you guys make of those comments? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button if you have not already. Subscribe if you're new, and tickle my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload. Do you think that she's right, she's wrong? Your opinions are allowed down in the comments, unless, of course, you start to get hateful, then your comments will be removed because I will not publicize that. Anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions. And until next time, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed, and I'll speak to you later. Peace.